David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I am.
Hey. So welcome everybody. We'll do a little fireside chat with David, the CTO of Ripple. Welcome, David. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear clearly.
Okay, perfect. So David, as the XRP Ledger grows and continues to grow globally, can you tell us about some of the core capabilities and some of the recent innovations that the XRP Ledger is bringing, that Brazilian developers and the Brazilian community can use?
Sure. Ripple worked with the community to bring this automated market maker feature, the most recent XRP Ledger feature, which is now live on the XRP Ledger main network. This automated market maker facilitates automatic trading and liquidity provision without the need for traditional order books. It's a core primitive on the XRP Ledger. It's not implemented as a smart contract. It's implemented as a core ledger feature, which means that developers can use it without having to create smart contracts, and users don't have to interact with smart contracts, which reduces the risks that a smart contract might be, might have something malicious or might have some sort of a bug or error. Liquidity for all trading pairs is aggregated at the protocol layer. There's one automated market maker feature on the XRP Ledger. There's one DEX on the XRP Ledger, so it's not fragmented across individual smart contracts, which gives a better overall liquidity. The XRP Ledger's automated market maker has some unique features like near instant settlement, ultra low transaction fees, and support for various token standards. It also has something called the continuous auction feature, which takes some of the money that would normally be made by arbitrageurs and gives it back to the liquidity providers. These features make it an attractive option for developers looking to build DeFi applications with high efficiency and with low costs. Another new development, not currently deployed, is the XRP Ledger native lending protocol, which takes a new approach to decentralized lending. Doesn't rely on smart contracts like most DeFi platforms. It would be integrated at the Ledger's protocol layer as a core Ledger feature. This integration means there's no need for on-chain collateral. It uses off-chain underwriting and mismanagement, which reduces cost. Has a first loss capital protection scheme, which secures the system. This simplifies the lending process and makes it more accessible to a broader range of users. The lending protocol development is being carried out now with ongoing community feedback. Developers, borrowers, potential liquidity providers are invited to engage with the protocol in the development network, report bugs, suggest improvements, and so on. These advancements in the DeFi capabilities on the XRP Ledger will offer developers globally and startups tools to build innovative financial applications. The XRP Ledger's focus on efficiency, accessibility, and community involvement makes it an ideal platform for the growing DeFi ecosystem in Brazil and beyond.
Thank you, David. Yeah, I think that's a great set of features. Thank you for the overview. I think that's really interesting for the community here to see. So switching gears a little bit, Ripple recently announced a stablecoin. And of course, we're issuing this stablecoin on the XRP Ledger. But also, why did we pick Ethereum to launch it as well?
Ripple's launching a stablecoin. It'll be a USD-pegged stablecoin backed one-to-one with real US dollars. We're going to issue initially on both the XRP Ledger and the Ethereum blockchain. This is a way for Ripple to continue bridging the gap between traditional finance and crypto. The stablecoin market is massive, currently around $150 billion, and we expect that it's going to exceed $2.8 trillion by 2028. So there's definite demand. I also don't think that it's a winner-take-all market. If stablecoins are going to be used on decentralized networks, it doesn't make sense to have a whole DeFi ecosystem built around a single centralized counterparty, and these collateralized stablecoins necessarily have a central counterparty. We're launching the stablecoin on Ethereum in addition to the XRP Ledger. Ripple is a big believer in the power of cross-chain interoperability. We believe the future of crypto is multi-chain, and so that'll start to enable greater cross-chain opportunities. I don't think it's realistic that one blockchain is going to do everything that every user wants. If you look at compelling ecosystems like the internet, there's no one company that's the reason that you have home internet access. There's no one product or service that's the reason that we all have smartphones that allow us to access the internet. internet. It's the entire ecosystem that's compelling. And I think that same thing is going to have to be the way that this space is successful. Just like Google couldn't be the only successful internet company, or Amazon couldn't be the only successful internet company, there's no way for there to be one successful blockchain or one successful blockchain company. There's going to have to be a compelling ecosystem that provides products and services that a vast array of users find interesting, and then users will use the ecosystems and the products and services on the different blockchains that they find interesting. So of course, launching on Ethereum allows our stablecoin to interact with all the DeFi protocols and dApps on the Ethereum ecosystem, which unlocks a wide range of use cases and opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So switching to a subject that I think is a hot topic both within Ripple and Brazil, real-world assets. So how can the XRP Ledger facilitate the tokenization of real-world assets, and what are the primary advantages for financial institutions engaging with blockchain technology?
The reality is that most of the world's value is not on blockchains, it's not on decentralized networks, it's in things like real estate and securities and carbon credits and financial assets and all of these things that are just not on public blockchains or ledgers. Real-world asset tokenization will make those assets accessible to people who are sort of in DeFi ecosystems. Those assets can be digitally represented on the XRP Ledger, and this enabled things like fractional ownership, using them as collateral for borrowing, increased liquidity, easier trading. So it just expands the universe of things that you can do with these tokenized assets. On the XRP Ledger, tokenization streamlines ownership, transfer, transactions can be settled quickly, securely, with low costs. And that's especially interesting for financial institutions who are trying to optimize their operations. Ripple recently partnered with Zonix, which is a tokenization platform, to tokenize real-world assets on the XRP Ledger. For financial institutions, real-world asset tokenization, particularly on the XRP Ledger, allows increased transparency, improved risk management, the ability to offer new services and products to their customers, and just the ability to have greater reach.
Absolutely. So within the subject of financial institutions, Brazil has a large footprint in digital banking. So, it's ripe for blockchain integration. So how does the XRPL enhance financial services for Brazilian institutions?
There's definitely a lot of ways the XRP Ledger can enhance financial services for Brazilians and Brazilian institutions. For one thing, it's the XRP Ledger's low-cost transactions, making it ideal for cross-border payments. Financial institutions can leverage the XRP Ledger for faster and cheaper international remittances. It also is beneficial to reach underserved populations, fostering greater financial inclusion. There's transparency and immutability that could help financial institutions in Brazil combating things like fraud, money laundering, and financial crimes. There's also a heavy focus on interoperability. The focus on interoperability would allow Brazilian institutions to connect with other blockchain networks and traditional financial systems. This interconnectedness enables seamless asset transfer and communication across different platforms. Again, I think if we're going to present a compelling set of products or services to people, it's going to have to be a vast array of products and services. It's not interesting to, if you have a browser on the internet and you're only going to one website, that's not very interesting, right? It's having it's the ability to move assets between all of these different products and services that's going to make that interesting. So again, heavy focus on interoperability. And of course, Ripple's actively engaging with regulators and policymakers in Brazil and around the world to ensure the XRP Ledger's integration with financial services is compliant and meets local regulations.
Absolutely. And to touch a little bit more on something you said earlier, you mentioned a lot that the future of blockchain is multi-chain. And so with the landscape that's increasingly leaning towards this, how is the XRPL positioning itself in this landscape?
I absolutely firmly believe that there's not going to be a single chain future. There's not going to be one blockchain. There's not going to be one product. There's not going to be one service that provides everything that everybody wants. It's going to be this compelling universe of products, services, and blockchains that's going to bring people in. And then they'll use the products and services that best meet their needs for particular things. And then it's on all of us developers and product managers, and companies throughout the system to build the products and services that are attractive to customers. But we need to have a sort of large customer base, and it's going to take a wide array of things that's going to sort of attract that mass market. Twitter would not be a viable business if Twitter had to put phones in everybody's hands, right? Amazon wouldn't be a viable business if Amazon had to build the internet or build smartphones, right? It's the fact that there's an interoperable system that they can sort of like declare a niche in. And so interoperability is going to be absolutely crucial. This will make more robust and interconnected applications, driving mainstream adoption. Ripple recently announced a partnership with Axelar Foundation to integrate with the XRP Ledger to provide efficient transfer of assets across over 55 connected blockchains. So projects like that, as well as ecosystem interoperability initiatives such as Corium, will help to expand the reach and utility of the XRP Ledger for both DeFi and real-world assets.
Thank you. And since we are at E3, could you share some updates on XRPL's upcoming integration with EVM?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the XRP Ledger is a fixed function blockchain. It's somewhere in between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin is a fixed function blockchain, but the functionality is fairly limited, whereas Ethereum is not a fixed functionality blockchain, right? You can write a smart contract to add functionality that it doesn't have, and you could add a feature that only you care about, and you don't have to develop a consensus around that feature. But the downside of that is that you have an ecosystem of smart contracts, and nobody knows what they all do. You've probably heard stories of people who have had assets stolen from them because they agreed to smart contracts they didn't understand. And so the XRP Ledger sort of staked out a sort of in-between position, which it has the flexibility to have things like DEXs, real-world asset tokenization, and automated market maker that you probably couldn't build on a blockchain like Bitcoin, but it also doesn't have the risk associated with smart contracts. But the downside of that is you can't address that sort of long tail of applications that need very, very customized functionality. So it was definitely a deliberate feature that the XRP Ledger doesn't have EVM programmability. It makes sure that everything sort of aligns with performance and security, but it also means a lack of flexibility. And so recently there was an amendment called XLS 38, which will allow the XRP Ledger to interoperate with EVM sidechains. So that'll mean that you'll be able to build EVM sidechains that you can upload the same types of smart contracts you would use on Ethereum, and you can have XRP as a digital asset on them for expanded functionality.
Thank you.
I think Jazzy Cooper, my colleague, is going to be talking more about our announcement with PeerSys and the EVM sidechain.
Indeed. Yeah, that would be a very exciting one. So to switch gears a little bit, AI is becoming an increasingly larger and influential tech. And so can you share how AI is being integrated with XRPL to enhance blockchain innovation, and how can the developers take advantage of it?
I definitely think that AI is going to play a pivotal role in making blockchains safer, more reliable, and easier to use. AI can guard against threats. AI can ensure the security and integrity of on-chain transactions. I think that the potential of AI can help revolutionize the finance industry on the blockchain, providing things like market insights, automated trading, and potentially offering personalized financial advice tailored to individual needs. I think we'll see things like AI agents that can sort of act like humans moving around an ecosystem. It's obvious like how you would use these things in games, but I think they're useful in real world practical applications as well. And I think AI could make an impact in the development process itself. We're committed to making blockchain development on the XRP Ledger more accessible and less time consuming, especially for those new to the field. So a huge breakthrough here is generative AI. I'm sure most of the people have used generative AI. They've seen things like AI chatbots. These tools enable developers to quickly receive answers to their queries, streamlining their journey from concept to application. One of the problems with documentation is you can write detailed documentation on a feature and you can write an introduction to a feature, but that isn't necessarily going to be the sort of set of information that a particular user needs at a particular time. A particular user may have a particular background, they have particular tools they're using, and they need the explanation of a feature so it's translated into the right terms for them. It's just not practical to write documentation for every possible use case that a person reading the documentation might have. AI chatbots are fantastic at taking documentation on programming languages, documentation on ledger features, documentation on smart contracts, and sort of piecing them together. And if you want to explain like I'm 10, it'll do that for you. If you want like great technical analysis, it'll do that for you. So I think that's very promising, both for developers and also just for ordinary users to get them documentation information that's accessible to them. So that kind of instant support and guidance will empower developers and users to be able to build and use creative solutions more efficiently. I think that's not only that integration of AI into the XRP Ledger ecosystem will not only foster increased innovation on blockchains, but I think it's going to contribute to greater financial inclusion. I think there's barriers to entry of all kinds that AI, I think, can help with. The big one is access to information. And access to development tools, making them more accessible, more user-friendly. We can attract a broader range of developers from diverse backgrounds and so on. I think this approach will help lead to the creation of novel applications and services that can cater to the unique needs of communities worldwide, ultimately promoting financial empowerment on a global scale. I think there's also a lot of potential applications in regulatory compliance. AI is also really good at classifying. So you can look at transactions, you can mark particular transactions as fraud, then you can ask AI to look at transactions, that are incoming to find new types of fraud. You can do fraud detection without AI, but it's not quite so good as sort of finding new types of fraud without an enormous amount of human intervention. So I think that kind of sort of blockchain policing, particularly to deal with fraud and scams and thefts, and I'm sure anybody who's been, in the blockchain space for even a fairly moderate amount of time, you've experienced some of the the thefts and scams, and so I'm hoping that AI can provide more rapid detection, so exchanges can more rapidly warn you if you're moving funds to a scam, and so on. So I think there's a lot of applications for AI, in the XRP Ledger ecosystem and in the blockchain ecosystem more generally.
Absolutely, and I think since you mentioned chatbots, I believe there's two, both on beta versions. One on XRPL.org and one on the developers Discord for those who visit those. So one more question.
Fun to play with.
Yeah.
Super fun to play with. It is. If anybody here has not played with generative AI, they are super fun to play with, and they're really good at explaining things without you having to search for. They're like turbocharged search engines that can produce the results in whatever format you want. They're tremendously useful.
Absolutely. So one last question. What are specific initiatives, for those who are looking to build on the XRP Ledger, what are the initiatives and the program that Ripple offers to support them building on the XRP Ledger?
There are a vast array of programs. Most of them you can find through XRPL.org. So there's the XRPL Grants Program, which Ripple launched in 2021, and furthers Ripple's shared vision with the developer community to help build the Internet of Value by contributing improvements and new use cases to blockchain technology, and specifically the XRP Ledger. The grants program to date has awarded more than $14 million to more than 140 projects built on the XRP Ledger. Ripple committed 1 billion XRP to accelerate development and new use cases on the XRP Ledger, and over the next 10 to 20 years, that 1 billion XRP and the rest of the grants program will be dispersed to developers eager to build and scale apps from proof of concept to new businesses on the XRP Ledger. The funds programs are specifically designed to accelerate, train, mentor, and scale projects developed by the XRPL community, including applications like decentralized finance, diversity and inclusion, and sustainability. Then there's APEX, which is a conference hosted by Ripple. It's coming up, I think, next month in Amsterdam, so definitely a place to go. It's the annual event where developers, contributors, and thought leaders come together to learn, build, share, network, and celebrate all things XRP Ledger. It's a lot of fun. There's XRP Ledger hackathons open to all developers interested in building apps to improve lives in the real world using any of the SDKs and APIs for the XRP Ledger. There's an XRP Ledger learning portal, which is an interactive tool that simplifies the learning experience for building on the XRP Ledger. The learning portal is easy, it's interactive, it can get you started in your Web3 journey, whether you want to get acquainted with the basics of crypto and blockchain, or jump into learning how to code on the XRP Ledger. You can create your learning path with this platform. We have some new courses with React, building with React.js, which is a great tool to interact with the XRP Ledger, so new React developers can learn how to code on XRP Ledger. They can get up and running with it includes setting an account, sending XRP, creating trust lines, doing all of the XRP Ledger features. There's an accelerator program. We know that there's challenges that startups and new projects face, so Ripple introduced the XRP Ledger Accelerator Program. This initiative provides selected projects with resources, mentorship, and access to a network of industry experts. It's designed to fast-track their development and enhance their integration with the XRP Ledger, ensuring they're set up for long-term success. This is a 12-week program that helped entrepreneurs build XRP Ledger and attain mass adoption. Teams can earn up to $15,000 program grant, gain valuable insights from industry-leading mentors, refine product market fit, connect with investors and partners, and so on. You can find links to all of this stuff on xrpl.org.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool about Ripple's programs is that no matter what stage you are in your journey developing on the XRP Ledger, you can find the program that fits you.
Yeah, you can start exploring. You can learn the features. I mean, there's a lot of. It is a different ecosystem for people. I mean, imagine most of the people who are listening to me right now are familiar with the Ethereum ecosystem. It is a different ecosystem. The transactions tend to be faster. They tend to be cheaper. There's no maximum value extraction. There's no block producers that can reorder transactions. But it is fixed function. You can't create a smart contract. So you're limited to the functionality that the ledger has. But it has a DEX. It has NFTs. It has an automated market maker. It has issued assets. It has real-world asset tokenization. It has escrow and payment channel features. So it has a wide variety of features that should allow you to perform a wide range of DeFi and financial applications. It's great for payments. It has a cross-currency and cross-issuer payment system with pathfinding. You can draw down multiple paths simultaneously for better liquidity. It's different. I wouldn't argue that it's better than Ethereum, but it's different, and it's worth understanding what it does well and what it maybe doesn't do so well, so that if you have an application that does fit the design of the XRP Ledger, you may be able to get a better product experience, a better user experience, lower cost, faster transactions, and easier development.
Absolutely. And I think as we get to the end of this conversation, I know there's a little fun fact that I wanted to share that I think is very personal to you, which is the XRP Ledger had the first DEX that's existed, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So in the very early days of the development of the XRP Ledger, we realized that we had a blockchain that didn't have block producers. So Bitcoin was the only other blockchain design at the time. And Bitcoin has a miner who gets to choose which transactions go in which block. And in the early days, we realized that our design doesn't have a block producer. It has a consensus mechanism that truly reaches a cooperative consensus on which transactions go in which block. And so we thought, well, what's that good for? And one of the first things that we realized is that if you're going to have a DEX, you really don't want a block producer who can prevent you from canceling. If you make an offer and the market moves against you, they could take your offer. They could sort of, they could unfairly bias the system and front run. And so we realized that we had a ledger that didn't have that possibility of a block producer who could sort of monopolize the ledger. And so we realized pretty early that if you wanted a decentralized exchange, that was the kind of, that was the optimum kind of design for that type of system. And so we built a decentralized exchange, and we didn't call them stablecoins, but stablecoins way back in 2012.
Yeah, okay. So I think we'll close this conversation. Thank you so much, David, for participating. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, Bruno. It was a pleasure. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.